Welcome to Sideline Sports Podcast. I am the host, Alex Naveja, and if you're not on the sideline, it's not Sideline Sports Podcast. Welcome to another edition of Sideline Sports Podcast. I am the host, Alex Naveja, and with me today we have a special guest, is the Dirtbags head coach, Eric Valenzuela. Coach, how are you doing today? And it's an absolute pleasure to have you on this afternoon.
Alex, man, thank you for having me. I'm fired up and excited to talk dirtbag baseball. Stay here. I'm out in the city of Orange, in my house here, and excited to chat with you, man. I'm pumped to be here.
I'm just as pumped to be able to have you on the show, Coach Valenzuela. But before we get into the business, I just want to take the time to say thank you so much to all the healthcare workers that are risking their days each and every day to keeping all of us safe and fighting this COVID-19 pandemic, along with all the law enforcement out there as well, keeping us safe here out in the streets as well. So without further ado, let's get started, where if you're not on the sideline, it's not Sideline Sports Podcast. Coach Valenzuela, I just first want to talk about the news that was brewing earlier this week, where Jacob Huey has announced that he will be hanging up the cleats. What were your thoughts when you saw Huey break the news?
Well, I mean, obviously sad, but understanding. It's very difficult, to do it. It's a tough decision to make. He finished and completed his 5th year, and he graduated, did a great job, and had a great career. And even though he would have another year of eligibility, man. I mean, some of these guys they want to get their lives started and kind of just move forward, and get a quick start on life, man, and whatever they majored in. And so, again, we're going to miss him. He's such a great, he's such a great dirtbag. He's such a great teammate. He was so much fun to coach. It is what it is, and we're going to help him, and anything, he needs moving forward. He always has us on his side. So, again, we were sad, but we also understand we're going to support his decision, and he'll be a dirtbag for life, man.
When Long Beach State was in that coaching hunt, what were your thoughts when Andy Fee gave you the phone call and offered you the job? Clearly you accepted it, but what went through your mind when he said, Coach Valenzuela, would you be the coach for Long Beach State?
No, well, it was a great day, man. One of the best days of my life, obviously. This program is one of the best college baseball traditions and powerhouses in the country. Yeah. Just definitely honored to be able to, be the head coach here. And when I did get the phone call, nothing but excitement. It's a dream come true. It's an opportunity of a lifetime. I was in Northern California at St. Mary's College, and I loved it there. My family loved it there, but we're from here. We're from the San Gabriel Valley, and to be able to bring my family home and be close to home is just an honor. And and it's just such a great place to be. It's a great school. It's a great campus. Beautiful location. It's the tradition of unbelievable players and coaches and teams is just amazing. And we have big shoes to fill, and there's a lot of expectations when you come to a program like this. We're going to grind it and work our butts off to be the most successful that we can be. But yeah, I was pumped, man. Come on. This is such a great environment to be in, and such a great place to coach. So I'm just honored to be here, man, for sure.
Well, by the looks of things, I know the players really enjoy having you in the program, along with all the fans, media. A lot of us enjoy just having you there at Bull Diamond at Blair Field. But when you came in first day of practice, what were a couple of the plans and what are a couple of things that you wanted to do to really improve and get this team making a U-turn and get back into the win column?
Yeah, I think first and foremost, when you're a new coach in a program, there's always, you really got to kind of dive in for the players. You got to change for an 18 to 22-year-old with coaches is never easy. There's a lot of uncertainty. How is this coach going to be? He didn't, maybe he didn't recruit me. How is he going to, and so there's a lot of questions. So I think that's the first thing we did was we really just connected with our players. We really got to, sit down and just meet them all and really dive into each one of them individually and just hear them out, and get their feedback and what they want and what they're looking for and what our expectations are as well moving forward. So I think that's first, and making sure that they understand that everything's going to be good, everything's going to be okay. We're going to take care of these guys, and we're going to, write up a blueprint for these guys for success, and we're going to get after it. And so I think that's where it all began. And once we got those guys to just settle in a little bit and just realize that, hey, this is going to be okay. It's not easy for anybody, but but we're going to move forward, and it's going to be good. Then we can start getting after it. And so I think some of the first things that we did was when we meet and we do those type of things, we kind of the organization piece comes into play. You want to be really organized with these guys. You want to make sure that they know what they have a calendar. They know what to expect. They have a spreadsheet as to, the expectations of the program, whether it's academically, community service, baseball related, all of those things, the way they act off the field, the way they communicate with their professors, all those types of things. And then from the baseball part of it, it's just really detailed. Everything that we do, we just we take it back, and it's almost like we assume that they know nothing. When it comes to the baseball part of it, and we really teach, and really want to develop each individual, and then in a team aspect. So there was a lot. Obviously, there's a lot to do. There's a lot to accomplish running a program, I think. But the first thing, was definitely to communicate with these guys and learn these guys individually, because that's our job as coaches. All these guys are different. You got 35 to 40 guys. Everybody's different. They all tick a different way. And it's our job as coaches to figure out, what we need to do to make each individual successful. And in part, that's going to help us as a team for sure.
It looks like you really took the time to really get to know each and every player, make sure every player was comfortable. What did you do, especially for those incoming freshmen that are coming from high school, and really trying to get them ready into NCAA level, and especially in the highest competitive level in Division I?
Yeah, you're talking about the new guys coming in, is that right?
Right, yeah, the freshmen that are coming in that they ain't even get a chance to play community college. It's just straight from high school, you're going into D1.
Yeah, and it's difficult, it is. And you got really talented kids coming in, and as freshmen, I think a lot of things, play a role in this. Number one, it's the hardest of everything. That's what I explained to them. It's the hardest school will ever be for them. It's the hardest baseball will ever be for them. It's the hardest. It's the hardest for them to have to be organized with their day and all that stuff. So all this stuff is very difficult. So, we really have to make sure that, again, we communicate with these guys and we really, we help them, we mentor them, because this freshman year for these guys is the toughest. It's really difficult. Not only, these guys, most of these guys have been superstars their whole lives, right? They've been the best player on their teams forever, and now they come to this level and they're not. They're just one of the bunch, and so again, this is going to be probably the first time they're going to deal with a lot of failure. Playing with older, better guys, and so how are they going to react to that? How are they going to, be able to rebound from the struggle? I think is big for them. So again, we want them to be confident. We want them to not question whether they belong at this level or not. We want them. They're here for a reason. They're good players, and they're good kids. So they just have to, open up and realize that, hey, this is not. It's not going to be easy. It's going to be very difficult. But I think the biggest part of it, and where guys get in trouble a little bit or they struggle, is it just becomes really fast for them. It's like school is very. School's hard. And then you're matching, a normal day for these guys is like, hey, they got 6 a.m. weights, they lift for an hour, they go to class, from 8 a.m. till, 1 o'clock. Then they have practice from, 1:30 to 5. And then they have study hall from 6 to 8:30. When do you eat? When do you, call mom and dad? When do you, if you have a girlfriend or whatever. I mean, it's a total grind. And for a young, 18-year-old guy, man, that can get fast really quick. It could just really, get big on you. And so us as coaches, we have to, make sure that these guys feel comfortable in communicating with us. And if they are struggling, they need to be okay to ask for help, And so I think that's where one of our good qualities as coaches, with the staff, we relate really well to our players, and our players don't feel like they can't come to us, for help or whatever it may be. So, again, it's a tough transition. For freshmen, it's a tough transition for anybody. But I think, I think we do a pretty good job of getting these guys to understand and to get through it.
That's a tough transition right there, Coach, to be able to be accustomed to 4 years of being a high school student to now having to be a college athlete and really having that big load on their schedule on them on a day in, day out basis. And not only did you have to prepare them for that everyday grind, but very interestingly enough, when we had Jacob Huey on the podcast a couple months ago, he told us about some of the condition work that you made the team do as well. And something that really caught my attention was you got the team into boxing. Please tell us about that conditioning work, especially about that boxing.
Yeah, well, I come from a boxing background. That's what my dad is. He's been a boxing coach for over 40 years and still does it to this day. He runs a boxing club out in the city of Duarte. So that's a big part of my life. And it's just a different, I talk to my guys all the time. It's a real tough man's sport, and I want my guys to be tough. I want them to be mentally and physically tough. And our conditioning is a grind, man. I'm not going to lie to you. Our conditioning, if you ask any of our players, we call it, we're testing their souls, it's a hard grind. And a lot of the conditioning is yes, it is about your endurance and it is about them getting in shape, but I think it's also, a big part of why we do it and the way and the amount of to really get them to be mentally tough and push through some times where, they're on the brink, man, of they're going to have to make a decision, of them getting through it, and they push themselves through it, and I think it just really helps, the mental side of this thing, and to make them mentally tough, to get through some tough situations. They always have that to fall back on, that they feel like they've outworked their opponents, As far as boxing is concerned, yeah, I took the team down to my dad's gym down in Duarte during the fall to get a workout in, and it's just something different, I want these guys to go through something different and put them through the grind again, and obviously have respect. They had a lot of respect for boxing after they left that gym, because it's a definite tough workout. Guys got to learn how to throw their hands a little bit, and defense, and obviously conditioning and jump roping, and learning how to fight a little bit, and so it was a good team, obviously team building. And it was a lot of fun, man. We went out and drove out there, had some breakfast after, and just did it as a team. And yeah, it was good, man. It was a good, like I said, a good team bonding deal, and it also, it was a tough workout for them. So I know the boys enjoyed it.
Hey, Coach, did you ever have any guys say, hey, I don't know about this whole baseball thing, I think I'm going to get into boxing instead?
No, I think it was the opposite. I think it was, thank God we're in baseball and not in boxing. This is a tough workout, and it's one-on-one. I tell my guys all the time, here's the difference in boxing and baseball, man. If you're not prepared as a pitcher in baseball, what's the worst that can happen? You get hit, guys hit home runs and score runs off of you. If you're not prepared as a hitter in baseball, what can happen? What's the worst thing? You strike out, you have a bad day at the plate. In boxing, man, if you're not prepared, there's some physical things that can happen to you. You get a broken nose, your brain, broken jaw. So preparation is on a different level when you're talking about boxers. That's for sure.
Absolutely. You make a mistake in boxing, and definitely your other opponent, your fighter, is gonna make you pay there. And I mean this in a little joking way. I have a question. Did you ever have to make the guys put the gloves on if there was any disputes or anything inside of the dugout?
No, thankfully I didn't. You know, I think no, but that's actually a good idea. Maybe if, instead of like fist fighting, we could just throw on the gloves and let them go at it. You know? But, no, I'm not. Yeah, that's cool.
Yeah, you've been fortunate enough to not have to worry about that. So now you get the young guys accustomed to the program, you get them accustomed to the everyday schedule, you get them into condition. Now you get them on the field and getting them to practice. Were there certain things that you wanted to address during practice that you really wanted to get them ready for the season?
Well, I think it's how you draw up, your practices. It's how you draw up, the months leading up to the season. I mean, what kind of things do we want to be, we want to be good at? What type of things, and on the calendar, how long are we going to do certain things, and what's important to our program, and it's important to, our team. And so I think, the little details is a big part of this thing. So what does that mean? What do the little details mean? I think, how we play catch, is important because, I want our guys to not only build arm strength, but, I want them to stay healthy. So we have to be really detailed in how we go about our throwing program, making sure that we're organized and we're structured when it comes to that. When we're talking about, infielders and outfielders, catchers, pitchers, having a detailed plan as to each item, just how to, your footwork and technique and how you bend your knees, and just basically teaching these guys like if I'm teaching my 10-year-old sons. I mean, you just, you got to do it that way. I mean, you really do. If you want to talk about, being good at the basics, I mean, that's what we really, I want these guys to accomplish. I really want to be good at the things that we can control. I really want to be good at things that are coachable. Because there's a lot of things in baseball that aren't coachable, man. There's some guys that just have lightning bolt arms or have huge power or that are just, God gifted with certain things, but there are a lot of things that we can control, right? There's in the effort and how we run the bases, how hard we do it, hitting our cutoff man properly, backing up bases correctly, all those little, being in good positions on, cut on balls in the gaps and making sure that we're in the right spots and everybody knows where they're supposed to be and there's no blunders, mental blunders like that. So all of those things is where that's important to me. And if it's important to me, it's going to be important to our players. And so they take a lot of pride in that, about playing good baseball. That's our motto. We just want to play good baseball, clean baseball. We don't want to make errors. We want to throw strikes, and we want to make sure we're in the right place at the right time. And so, that's just kind of how we go about our business. We just keep it simple, man. It just really is. Make sure we're organized. Make sure we're structured. Our practices are detailed, and if the players see that and they see the organization, they see the structure, they see the energy that the coaches bring to the table, they're going to be the same way, And so that's kind of how we do it. I mean, it's a pretty simple recipe, man, but that's important to us. Is just getting the guys to play good baseball, good quality baseball, And when you come and you watch us play, we're hoping you see, a brand of baseball, whether we win or lose, but it's going to be good baseball. We're not going to make errors. We're going to be in the right place at the right time. We're going to hustle. We're going to, play the game the right way, and that's what we take a lot of pride in.
That's the right attitude right there. If an opponent beats you, it's just because they were that much better. But, Coach...
They beat you, yeah. If they beat you, they beat you. That's it. I mean, we're not going to beat ourselves,
Exactly. You just got to tip your cap to the talent that the other team has. That's all you can do there. But now I want to talk about the successful season that you guys were already leading up to. You guys finished up these 15 games in a 10-5 record. You guys were ranked 16th in the nation. Every weekend series that you guys played, you won those series, from playing Xavier to ranked Mississippi State to beating ranked Wake Forest explain to me how the team was so successful in that span.
Well, I think it goes back to exactly what we just talked about. I think a lot of our guys took a lot of pride in playing the game the right way and keeping everything simple and not beating ourselves and just being good at the basics. And so in those games, we played a lot of good baseball. We threw strikes on the mound. We challenged guys. We played great defense. We executed offensively for the most part. And we had a ton of energy. I think that's a big part of it. And our dugout was on fire. We had good energy in the stands, and it was just and again, when you have all of that, and you have a lot of guys that are pulling from the same side of the rope. I mean, it's fun, and you can win a lot of baseball games that way. And so again, I don't think our guys were intimidated by anything. I mean, everybody we played was a Pac-12 team, an ACC team, an SEC team. I mean, we're playing ranked teams. Our guys didn't miss a beat, man. They were tough. They got after them, and they didn't. It didn't matter who we were facing. They came out with a lot of energy and passion and played the game hard, and that's what I was really proud of these guys. I mean, it was a good ball club, man. These guys played good baseball, and they competed their butts off, and they were tough. And when you have a team that can do that, you're going to win a lot of baseball games against anybody. So.
Well, Coach, all of the results have really shown from that day one that you stepped into the office, and the season was already looking good. Just unfortunately, with the pandemic that happened there. But you know what? We're going to take a quick break. But when we come back, we're going to talk about what game plans Coach Valenzuela has for the next upcoming year to see when we can have a full Dirtbag season. Make sure to stick around for part 2, where if you're not on the sideline, it's not Sideline Sports Podcast. We'll be right back.
This is Jacob Huey, first baseman for the Long Beach State Dirtbags, and you're watching Sideline Sports Podcast.
Welcome back to Sideline Sports Podcast. I'm the host, Alex Nabeka, and with me again is head coach of the Long Beach State Dirtbags, Eric Valenzuela. First half, we were talking about his first year becoming with the Dirtbags. They finished up that 15-game span, being ranked 16th in the nation, along with how he welcomed in all the incoming freshmen, along with transfers from junior colleges. And we even talked a little bit about boxing and how boxing beat up some of his players and some of his team there. So now we want to start talking about, now that Coach Valenzuela is going to be entering his second year with the Dirtbags, wanted to talk about, Coach, what are some things that you want to improve on as a team that you saw that needed work on this season?
Yeah, that's a good question. I really want them to, I think they grasp what our plan was. So I think number one is I want them to continue to, continue to buy into what we're going to kind of going up, about our business, and making sure that they, stay with the plan and keep that energy going and know the expectations. I mean, we weren't able to get a whole season in, obviously, but I think leading up that whole fall that we put in, and then the start of the season, how we went about it, I want them to continue to, use that fire and that energy that we had, and continue it into the fall. I think, where I want to, continue to improve on is obviously the relationships. I want to continue to learn these guys individually, and that's going to help us coach these guys. I think, the next plan of attack is bringing in a new class, right? A new group of freshmen and junior college transfers. And now, I want to be able to have our current guys that were with us this year to help, with the growth of our program and understand what the expectations are, and what we mean, about, how practices are going to be, how you're going to be in the classroom, how you're going to be in the community, what we expect from our guys, during practices, hustle, the effort, and all of that stuff. And now, it's not just us coaches preaching that. Now it's us coaches and, our guys that have been with us for this year, and they can help, guide these new guys coming in and giving them the expectations of, hey, this is how we do things, and this is how it's going to happen. And so, so as far as improvement, I just want our guys to continue to grow. I want our guys to continue to to strive in our system and get better. And then, obviously with the new group of guys coming in to help us coach them up as well and help them understand that, hey, this is the way we do things. This is how it's going to happen. And this is how we play. This is how we talk. This is how we get. This is how we go about it. It's all about the team, and so that's those are kind of some immediate things that we want to do. And again, just continuing to build a relationship with our players. I think that's important. That's kind of cliche, and people say that a lot, but you know what? As you know, I mean, we need to know these guys in and out, because ultimately we want to get the best out of them on the baseball field and off the field. So we have to know them. We have to know that, hey, some guys need a kick in the butt and some guys need an arm around them to say, hey, they're good and we got your back and we're going to support you. So it's just that's kind of what we're looking for moving forward.
So, Coach, I want to talk about the season that just happened right now, those 15 games, very quickly. I wanted to ask you, before a game starts, when the team huddles up and they're about to take the field, what are some of the words that you tell them before a game?
Well, sometimes I give them a little quick motivational, some will be PG, some will be rated R, man. You know what I mean? It's just about getting them pumped up and ready to go. I always, say things like, hey, trust everything that we worked on and we talked about, play together, have ultimate energy, you know what I mean? So I'll say things like that, and just, I'll say, look at these guys that have I'll kind of say something too to maybe get them fired up. Like, look at these guys, they're looking at you guys like you're nothing, you know what I mean? And da-da-da-da, just kind of get under their skin a little bit to get them fired up and motivated. So I think it's different. I think it's the kind of the feeling I have of how the group is feeling at that point, or the team that we're facing. And, we play with a little edge, man. We play with a little cockiness and with our chest out. And I want our guys to be confident. I want our guys to be tough. And I want our guys to, to have a little swag, man. I think that goes a long way. Be confident. And, that's how we do it.
I like the attitude, Coach. You're not just talking the talk, but you're walking the talk as well and showing it up there on the field. So just very quickly, last question. What were some things that the team did well last season, and what were some of the things that the team needs a little more work on?
Yeah, I think they did everything well, and I also think that we need to improve on all those things. I think that we pitched really well at times, and then there were some times that we didn't make some quality pitches, and we hit. I thought there was a lot of times that we hit really well, and there were some times that we didn't. That we didn't execute in some tough spots. So again, but that's baseball, man. I mean, I think you're going to have those, and how you can come back and how you can overcome those things. That's important. That's huge. But I felt at whole. I thought we played really good baseball. I thought we played clean baseball. I thought we pitched. We executed offensively. We played good defense. And then there was obviously times. I mean, we had 5 losses. So there were some times that that the opponent beat us in those areas. And so we need to continue to grow and just stay consistent. We need to. Hey, we're going to take it on the chin every now and then, and we're going to lose a game. But you know what? If we just continue to play good baseball and continue to, just believe in that part of it, we're going to be successful. We're going to win a lot of baseball games. And as long as we have energy and enthusiasm and we practice hard and we do things the right way, I think that the success will come. And so, hey, we're always learning. We're always working to get better. Baseball is such a game that can go up and down, and you fail a lot, and you have a lot of success, and you just got to continue to grow, and you got to continue to get better. I think that's our plan moving forward. Is that our guys are going to be confident, they're going to be tough, they're going to grind, and they have to be able to overcome bad performances or a bad game or whatever. And if we can do that, then we're going to have a lot more success than we are failure.
Well, Coach, you were on your way to having one heck of a season, but just unfortunate with this whole entire COVID-19 pandemic. But that's all the time we have left here on Sideline Sports Podcast. We thank you all so much for tuning in. If you like this episode, please give this video a thumbs up. If you guys are enjoying the content on this channel, make sure to hit the subscribe button down below. And of course, I just want to take the time to say thank you so much to the Long Beach State head baseball coach, Eric Valenzuela. Thank you so much for being on the podcast, Coach, and just an absolute pleasure.
Awesome, Alex. Thank you so much for having me, man. I really appreciate it.
Well, we wish you the best of luck in all of the future endeavors, Coach, and I'm excited to see what's to come for Season 2 of the Eric Valenzuela and the team, and I'm really excited to see a full-on season for the Dirtbags next year.
I appreciate it, man. And everybody stay healthy and stay safe out there, and hope to see you at the yard really soon. And again, Alex, thank you so much for having me.
Again, thank you so much for being on the show, Coach Valenzuela. And of course, if you're not on the sideline, it's not Sideline Sports Podcast. Have a good one, everybody, and make sure to stay safe.